flat pretty. Here I am. Okay. I am separating some knife handles from the blades. Let me know if you guys can hear me okay. I think the chat should be on. There we go. All right, chat's on. This is pretty much my normal setup. Mount solderous. I have this just back plate here to block the wind, and a couple of knives that got me today, a couple of patterns that will not come apart, even though I'm pretty sure this one's hollow, but it won't separate. So I'm just figured I would go live for a little bit. Let's get you guys a little closer. I do have a bucket down here with where I put the blades, and right over here I've been dropping the blades straight down. So after I take the solder and put it on Mount solderous, I tap it down, and then I've been dropping these straight down in here, hoping that the solder that's left will stay at the front where I can cut it off or grind it off. And then you'll see out here in the yard, these are all hollow handled knives that are actually filled, that I have to go through and try and sell. And then I have some solid handled knives, and then a ton of stainless knives. But so that's what I'm doing today. So I'll get you guys right here. We have had some splatter today. So I put the cardboard down, some underneath, and I have my hose right here. I've just kind of been wetting everything down with every now and again. So let me get you guys set up here. I'm just using a regular propane torch. One of the things I've found is the back of the blade is normally thicker than the front, so it's easier for me to lock in the blade if I put the back in first. And I'm gonna just have my lighter and my round nose pliers here. This is a crimped one, so I'm gonna keep all my flame right here, just in this area. And I've started taking and just kind of wiggling it back and forth, and you can feel it whenever it pops loose. Watch out for your feet here, because these guys like to shoot out a lot. So it just went. Come on, there it goes. Come off of there. There we go. And now I'm holding the handle at an angle and running the torch down the length to get all that extra solder out. Tap it down a couple times, straight down into my bucket. See, yeah. This one's kind of tarnished there a little bit. So these normally come apart pretty easily, this pattern. There we go. Mount solder is getting higher and higher. I think I have probably 40 or so to go. My little 3-gallon bucket here is a little over half full. So this one is not a crimped. So this one has a stud going up through it, probably about to there. What I like to do is lock or unlock the bottom so where I can see a little bit of solder. And once I can start to see the solder at the bottom, I'll try and unlock it. So I'm putting a little pressure on it and then I'm slowly starting to twist it. So I just saw solder coming out. I'm going to start moving my flame up, still twisting. What I'm trying to do is get the solder at the top of the pin to loosen up. Try and twist it the other way. And you can feel it once it lets go. And that's why we wear an apron and shoes. Come on. I want all the solder out of there. So here I'll show you what I'm doing it, lifting or putting it into the bucket here. So it's going straight down. I'm dropping them straight down in here like that to get them, to get that solder hardened right as soon as it hits the water. When that one shot out, I didn't get any solder on my shoes or my feet or my legs, just a couple little pieces on my apron. Can you guys hear me okay? This one's a crimp. So what have you guys all been up to today? This is one of the first really nice days we've had up here in northern New York. I'm gonna put this little bit right there. Yeah, it's always scary whenever they do that. I've had them actually, before I've gone to clip onto them, I've had them actually shoot up into the air. I grew up in Yuba City, California, and I think I would rather be doing this than shampooing carpet. Sorry. So yeah, I've had these actually shoot off here before I had a chance to grab them. And that's really scary because the solder's coming out like jet fuel. think I'm running out of propane. Maybe not. There we go. Let's get some more down on this side. Monterey. I grew up in Yuba City. I think that's 3 hours-ish from there. One of my favorite places is growing up was the Monterey Bay Aquarium. Started my love for fish tanks. There we go. That one came off with almost no solder coming out, so we'll get this guy right up in here. Oh my. So a tank this size, maybe, I don't know, if I had to guess, 400 to 500, depending on how high you have your flame. Yeah, it will do a lot. What I do is I actually refill these. They make an attachment for one of the bigger grill tanks, the 5-gallon tanks. There's a little attachment that screws into them, and once you get that screwed in there, you get this can screws into that. You flip the whole thing upside down and you fill the liquid propane into the canister. So there's a ton of videos on it. This little valve up here, the pressure release valve, I use that to adjust my how much fuel can go in the tank, because after a little bit it will stop filling, so you need to make more space, and I do that by letting out some of the air. So we just got that puff of smoke. Generally that puff of smoke means that's the end of whatever's in there. So for $15 I will, for a new tank, well, yeah, 15, yeah, I think it's $15 here. Actually, it might be 20 bucks. We'll just call it 20 bucks. For 20 bucks, I can fill up 12 of these tanks, 15 of these tanks. And at our Walmart, they're $4.99 to $6.99 around town. So for the price of 3 tanks. Did you see how that one just popped? That's what I like them to do. Keeps the solder in the knife or in the handle. I know you're in there. I've been here So all of the knife handles that are in this bucket I've done today, and there has to be over 100. And there 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. There's probably 50 more in my box. My back is killing me right now. But it's a nice day, so I needed to get these done. It's not a million degrees out. That one splattered a little bit too. So if you see it start splattering it out, go ahead and take your torch right off of it. And a lot of times if it's squirting towards you, if you hold it, let me show you. So you're heating it up. The solder starts spraying out towards you from the bottom. If you pull the top towards you, it pinches off this side and it will make it squirt out the back side instead of towards you. Most of the time. These guys pretty much do whatever they want, but if you can get this broken free and it starts, so it just went loose. That one had a lot of solder in it. Okay, yep, I can definitely do that. So, let me get this one, and we'll do this one next. So I've only seen 2 different kinds of, well, there's 3 different kinds, but only 2 that will separate. You can, there's the crimped, which is what I'm working on now. And we'll keep the blade too. So the crimped are definitely the easiest to do. So I'll put this guy right here. Have fun, guys. I was talking to you guys. Okay, there's that one. And then this kind. So do I have a video of how I drill fork tine for the bells? Okay, I can definitely do that. Yes, I can definitely do that. I can actually probably have that video done tonight for you. So I've got the bottom opening, the top just slipped or just let loose, and I am running out of propane. Yep, that's full blast. Come on, just a little bit more. You can do it. Come on. It fell into the bucket. Awesome. Oh. My back doesn't like me today at all. Let's get this guy dipped so I don't touch it while it's hot. Okay. So here's what we're left with. We have, does the solder pile chip off at the end, or do you need to heat it to get it off your vise? It will actually just pop off. It doesn't really stick. This is the second time I've done knives on it. I kind of kept it for a long time. The last time I did about 150 knives, and that was the little pile, and this is just kind of the little art piece. It looks pretty cool. But here's what we end up with the handles. So we have this one, it's the stem. I call it the stem one. This is the handle that you get off of that. So it already has a full opening. Now these I will just take inside, and I'll just use my my sander, and just sand this flat. And that's pretty much all I'll end up doing to this one. But the problem with these is they have all that room there for the solder. So there's a lot of it. And if you heat up here, what you end up doing is building a giant pressurized cell. And then as soon as this melts, that pressure releases and this goes psst, shoots off everywhere. And that's really bad. Also, if you build up too much pressure up here, it will shoot out the bottom. And I've had little streams go like 4.5 feet away. So you definitely want to be careful. If you don't feel comfortable with it, take the torch off of it, let it cool down a little bit, and put your pliers. Normally I'll put it up somewhere where there's a pattern, like this one here. I'll put anywhere in here and do my twisting. Same thing here. With my round nose pliers, you can kind of see some little marks, but not really. And once they get in the tumbler, they just disappear. So this is the stem, what I call the stem. And then this is the crimped. So the blade goes inside the crimp, and my idea is working. All the solder came down to the tip. This I will cut off right here and just have this little pinch point. That's all that's really wasted. Now if you look here, you can kind of see how far up the handle, up into the handle, that blade goes. And because this is crimped, there's a lot less solder in there. You do have the solder that's here, but if you look at how it looks on the end, there's not really that much solder like the other one. However, the bad part about these is because it's such a tight space, they want to squirt out almost all the time. So what I was saying before is if it's starting to squirt out towards you, if you tilt it tilt the handle towards you, that opens up the other side for it to spray out away from you. Let's see. And definitely a lot of difference in the blades. These blades are always a lot heavier and solider. I don't know if it's what type of knife it is, dinner knife or butter knife. I don't know. I do know that this kind right here that comes off the pinch blades, if you take your little Dremel tool, if you take and make a little slice in here and a slice on this side, you can actually take these guys and turn them into dragonflies. Let me grab another blade. Something like that. And then these can be soldered in place. I've been wanting to do this for a long time. I have a yellow tidy cat litter bucket full of these things. I just haven't got to them yet. We all have stuff that just takes forever to get to. My list is so long. The pile in my bucket is about this deep of all the knives that I've done today. So we'll get back to knives here. Yep, and that tip with the, okay, so here's another type of knife handle. I could feel it as soon as I picked it up. Is it not focusing? There we go. This knife handle is one piece. There's nowhere for it to be soldered to. It's actually one solid piece and will not ever come apart unless you cut it. So those are all, oh, I need more propane. Where do I have propane? This is the little check valve I was talking about. If you pull this out, it will let some gas out, which allows more liquid propane to go in. I'm going to hang you guys up here for 1 second and grab me another tank of propane. 1 sec. So these bottles do have kind of a shelf life. They only last so long because you have your little rubber gaskets and things in there, and over time they will get just wore out, which is why, like, every summer I'll switch out all of these tanks. Every time I go camping, you can always find these Sundays, actually almost every day, by the dumpster or recycle bin at the campgrounds. And generally you can find ones that are really, really new, and those, I pick those up 5, 6, 7 at a time, and then I'll put my old ones, I'll leave those there. So they still get recycled and I get new tanks to keep safe. Little tip. All right. Screw this guy on. And this is just a regular plumber's torch. The wind's changing direction on me. if you have your flame blowing really hot, everything builds up pressure a lot faster. So I want to be able to hear the flame, but I don't want it to like sound like I'm just wasting gas. So here you guys can hear it. I'll show you the difference here in a second. It works a lot better getting the solder out whenever you actually have heat. So here's just a really small flame. And then you can start to hear it. I like mine right about there. You don't want it here. So I want to bring it down. There you go. So I can hear it, but it's not too much and it's not too small. If it's too small, you're going to end up just wasting gas because it's going to take so much longer to heat up. I haven't used matte gas. A big thing for me was it is really hot. It's great for its own purposes, but mine was propane is a lot cheaper. I was trying MAP gas when I was using when I'm in the shop and I was making some pieces for sterling or something because I needed more heat. Mount solder is I'm running out of space. And once I learned that I could refill the bottles, that was it. I was hooked. You would think after doing enough of these knives and seeing repeat patterns that I would actually remember which ones are hollow and which ones aren't. So I actually, I will take the entire handle off and then I'll cut off what I need for the bell pendants. So I've got some solder coming out there. There we go. Whoop. I'm gonna have to reset this one. I take off the entire handle because I'll use the rest of the handle for bud vases, for my bird houses. I've used them as part of bracelets. If you do a search for knife handle bracelet, basically it's a whole bunch of little sections of the knife handle that have been jumpering together. So you have your knife handle and you'll just have about this much, and then you'll have it jumpering to another piece about this big, and so it's jumpering, and then once you get them all together it just hooks and clasps, and it's a whole bunch of little knife pieces. And I've seen people use them for putting charms on them as well, making a little charm bracelet. Yeah, there's so much stuff that you could do with these. I've seen people cut them off, and then I think I showed one on one of the videos. I cut it off at an angle, and then I soldered a penny on top of it, and I drilled a hole into it, and leaving the knife blade on there, it works as a great garden marker. You could make it like a little fairy house kind of thing. And because the blades are stainless steel, so you don't really have to worry about them rusting too much. So those are always cool, and those are really easy. So if you didn't want to take the time to take the blade off completely, you can cut it and then turn what's left of them into those little garden things, and those will sell well also. And you still get to use the entire piece. Whenever I started this, I really wanted to make sure that I was using the entire piece, because it's rescued silverware. And what's the point of rescuing just a part of it? I don't think I still have every piece of scrap that I've made from silverware from the last 6 years. I have a tote going that I just keep tossing pieces into, and every once in a while I'll go back. Is that silver in it? In the solder? The solder, I don't know exactly what's in it. I know that there is lead, and it is toxic, so you don't want to reuse it. So I'm just putting pressure on it back and forth. And there, I felt it pop. So we'll see if I can get it to stick on here, create a new base, new platform. That's a good one. What was I saying? Oh, I wanted to use every piece. So I've saved every piece of scrap, and I've gone back a few times through the bucket, and I'll see something different, or I'll see something that I could think would look interesting or try and make. And with doing that, I've been able to go back and reuse my scrap pieces as new ideas or new things that I haven't created before. Oh, here's an example of one of the blades. So this was cut off. I don't remember doing this. So this might have been one that was sent to me. But if you put a little house on here, roll out a coin or a little piece of copper, you can make like a little roof and then kind of angle it down. Whether you drill a hole here or not, this will stick in there and you'll have that piece of copper roof look like a little cabin. Always fun little things to do with your extra pieces. I think I found some sterling handles today. They have a mark on them, and I haven't been able to get out my loop. Can't quite make out the numbers. I know for sure that there's a 9. Let's see if I can put some over here. Yeah, there's a tiny, normally if you're gonna see sterling or something, sometimes it will be on the side of the handle here, but a lot of times it's right down along the edge. I mean, I'm pretty sure this is plated. But there's definitely something there, and it's not. I'll find out for sure. I know that these are filled with sand. They do have solder in them, but they're mostly filled with sand. A lot of times when I've seen that, it has been because they were sterling. Let's see, where was I? Talking and working sometimes works. So the lead pile, I have pretty much kept most of it. I have like a bucket out back. I have taken it to waste disposal places like your local junkyard, or not junkyard, but waste management area, because they can deal with those toxic materials. I didn't really feel comfortable taking them anywhere else because I don't know how they're going to be disposed of. I wish there was a place we could just send it to be disposed of properly. But I've just been storing it for the most part. Yeah. So I'm gonna have to cut this short, you guys. My daughter just got back and says I need to work on her car. So we'll do this last one. And I will see you guys later. I will try and get that video done tonight. I'll do it as a live. It's easier. So if you guys have subscribed, you probably have because you saw me go live or found me here. If you haven't, make sure you hit the bell to see whenever I go live and whenever I post new videos. I will, awesome, thank you so much. I will see you guys tonight, and the question was, how do I, the bell pendants, how do I drill a fork tine for the bells? So yes, I will definitely get that. And I'll show you how I tune them also to try and get a better sound. That's something I've never showed before. So I'll see you guys tonight. Thank you so much for joining me. And if I can figure out where the button is, I will end this live stream. And there it is. Bye.